My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. I've got something utterly broken to show you today. This build is an absolute monster. It requires a lot of breakdown, but we're going to be able to stack Unraveling rounds with Void Souls to get an absolutely massive damage increase on this awesome trace rifle Unsworn. With Shoot to Loot and Detonator Beam, we're going to infinitely be able to stack Unraveling Orbs and infinitely stack Harsh Refraction for massive damage, and on top of the Harsh Refraction, Child of the Old Gods for an extra 15% weakening effect, infinite Unraveling rounds, infinite Void Souls, infinite Harsh Refraction. This build absolutely melts everything in game, and I ain't joking you geezers, this build is probably the most scientific build you'll ever see, but it's absolutely awesome, so please stay with me and fully understand the build. It's an absolute joke. You've got trace rifles destroying champs. Stay with me, I'll break the whole thing down. We're going to start off with the trace rifle Unsworn Strand Adaptive Frame. This thing is an absolute monster. It's got a couple of insane perk combos. Shoot to Loot, shoot an orb of power, picks it up. Shoot an ammo brick, picks it up and automatically reloads all of your equipped weapons from reserves. Absolutely insane perk. We're going to be pairing it up with Detonator Beam. Dealing sustained damage creates an explosion around the target. The enhanced version makes it trigger faster. Detonator Beam actually procs Shoot to Loot, which we'll go into a little bit in the video. And then on top of that, it's got an absolutely awesome origin trait. Weapon adapts targets when dealing damage to weak targets. It explodes into strong targets. It exhausts. Really top tier perk. What I want to do is show you how to get infinite Unraveling rounds with this. Now, if you just watch this little clip here, watch this little paw hobgoblin. He's going to get weakened and I'm going to spawn an orb of power. This is super easy to do. You'll see the orb of power. I'm going to shoot it with my Shoot to Loot to give myself Unraveling rounds. You'll see in that bottom left there. So it's really easy to do via Unraveling Orbs. Picking up an orb of power or a tangle grants strand weapons Unraveling rounds, and you get an extra 5% damage on the boosted version. Now I'm on a full Void subclass, so via Echo of Harvest, defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and a Void breach. Do this with Child of the Old Gods. You deploy your Rift. This is going to put Void Souls out that weaken enemies, so you're infinitely going to be able to proc orbs of power with the Echo of Harvest, which will then give you infinite Unraveling rounds. So put your Rift down, get your Void Souls, it's going to weaken that enemy, you're going to kill that enemy, spawn an orb of power, use your Shoot to Loot, there you go, you've got Unraveling rounds, and a 15% debuff on top of that from the Child of the Old Gods. The 15% debuff is something we're going to look into because it's a lot more than that when we get the Unraveling rounds going as well. It actually ends up being a 100% damage increase, but just for now, look at the state of that. Look at the state of all these Unraveling rounds. And once you sort of got a little loop down, which is very easy to do, weakening things, you've also got Strand Siphons going on as well for orbs of power. You've got your Child of the Old Gods and Unraveling rounds going on. It's an absolute mess. As well as the Echo of Harvest to create orbs, we've also got Strand Siphon. A couple of Strand kills will give you an orb of power. Strand weapon kills you'll see in this clip as well. I'm just creating orbs of power. Again, that's just another way to infinitely proc your Unraveling rounds on your weapon via Unraveling orbs. Now, this is where the magic starts to happen, because with Detonator Beam, like it says, dealing sustained damage creates an explosion around the target. But it actually procs Shoot to Loot. So if you've got an orb of power or an ammo brick near a target, when that explosion goes off, you're going to auto pick it up via the Detonator Beam. So you'll see in this clip here, I managed to create an orb of power. I've got nothing going on the bottom left of my screen other than Devour. And watch the explosion, pick up them orbs. That is giving me Unraveling rounds and Strand weapon boost ×2 because I'm running ×2 weapon surges. But that's just absolutely magical. That is another way to infinitely keep your Unraveling rounds. Picking up all the ammo and all them orbs from the Detonator Beam is nuts. Because we've got Unraveling rounds going, it's also going to proc Harsh Refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs, matching their element. It's a Strand Trace Rifle, Unraveling orbs. It gives you a 50% damage increase, plus your Child of the Old Gods, which is a 15% damage increase, a weakening effect, Plus, we're going to be stacking powerful attraction as well to also pick up orbs. And we've also got 2 weapon surges going on. It's an absolute jerky. Powerful attraction is very, very nice. Just more ways to auto pick up orbs. But basically what we've got going on is harsh refraction, 50% via Unraveling rounds. We've also got Child of the Old Gods, 15% debuff, all stacking together. And then on top of that, I'm also running 2 strand weapon surges. And this is the damage increase. It's quite hard to get the damage numbers on Carl because there was all sorts going on. But I managed to get 1654 headshot. And once I've got my Child of the Old Gods on, auto pick up them orbs of power, proc your harsh refraction, your 2 weapon surges, etc, etc. The damage takes about a second or 2 to proc from your harsh refraction, so it sort of ramps up, but it goes up to 3,506 per headshot, which is an absolutely whopping 111% damage increase. That is absolutely disgusting. Now, even more disgusting than that is we're going to have Devour going, but on top of that, because we're taking advantage of the Unraveling rounds, we're going to use to shreds, dealing sustained damage to 7 targets, unravels them, defeating a 7th target, creates a hotspot of strand energy, that gives you Woven Mail, as well as Devour, and then you've also got the boosted version, Unraveling projectiles, deal increased damage, so just even more damage and even more survivability. You'll see in this clip here, you've got everything else like you've seen going on, Unraveling, you're weakening, you're picking up orbs from your detonator beam, and then we're going to get Unraveling rounds from that hotspot, Woven Mail from that hotspot as well. Just look at the state of that, it's an absolute joke. You've got Devour, loads of damage, and Woven Mail to stack on the fly, an absolute joke. Adding the exotic, we haven't even talked about the exotic yet. I'm pairing it up with Briarbinds, or what you could do with second filaments, but Void Souls have a longer duration. They also gain escalating damage and durability as they defeat targets. You can retrieve your Void Souls by interacting with them. This is what Briarbinds do. Void Soul kills increase their damage and damage resistance, maxing out after 6 kills. Your Void Souls can go up to 100% increased Void Soul damage and 50% increased Void Soul damage resistance. If multiple Void Souls tether the same energy, they will deal the amount of damage the first soul does. So it's just even more damage, and Briarbinds, as we know, are absolutely insane. And obviously that is giving you infinite Child of the Old Gods. So I stepped it up. Firstly, I wanted to go into the hardest difficulty lost sector, and it's an absolute joke. I keep saying it's a joke because it is. You just literally tear through these enemies. Your trace rifle is like a knife, and these enemies are like butter, a hot knife through butter, and it just absolutely schmelts them. You've got your Void Soul going, you've got your Unraveling rounds, and the Void Weakening just on its own is an absolute joke. It paints the room green and purple. Guys, it's an absolute mess. Look at the state of it. Really, really strong. Also got your Detonator Beam doing extra damage, and your To Shreds doing extra damage as well. And enemies just seem to go pop from time to time. It's just really, really strong. The survivability is also really good with a Woven Mail and Devour, because also whenever you pick up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach, it's going to grant you Devour. Your Detonator Beam and your Powerful Attraction will auto pick up these as well, so you've got infinite Devour on fly as well. There'll be an Overload Champion in a minute and a couple of Overload Champions at the end of this lost sector I want to show you, but just the awesomeness of Briarbinds, just picking them up. So you've basically got infinite Void Souls, infinite class ability, and these Overload Champions do not stand a chance to just get absolutely rinsed, to get ripped a new one. Look at the state of him, instantaneously dead, more or less. So basically, you've seen everything that I've got to show you. That's pretty much the build. I'm just going to show you it working in this lost sector and a couple of GM clips. So it was really important that you stuck with me to understand the full build and how it's working. But once you've got everything going on, Devour, Woven Mail, Detonator Beam, blasts and all that extra damage, it is super, super strong. And then obviously I wanted to go test it in the GM. Obviously this week's GM is the Sunless Cell, and it's just really, really strong in there too. It just absolutely deletes these champions. And again, the loop of play is so easy to do. You've got that Detonator Beam that will pick up them orbs, you've got the Unraveling rounds, and it absolutely schmelts champions and all these little minors and mages inside of this GM. You'll see that Powerful Attraction, picked up that orb, Unraveling rounds. I've got my Unstoppable up there, and is just going to get absolutely rinsed. Just to show you how strong trace rifles are this season. They're chronically underrated. But what I'm going to do is just go over my fragments and aspects, just nail them, and I've got some more gameplay to show you in the GM. Feed the Void for Devour, we've sort of touched on that one. We've also touched on Child of the Old Gods, Infinite Weakening. You can run any grenade you want. I really like Suppressor Grenades, something I find very underrated. Suppression is awesome, and you've got Echo of Undermining. Your Void Grenades weaken targets, more weakening, and you've also got Echo of Harvest, which we've touched on. Defeating weakened targets creates an Orb of Power. Again, I found this a very underrated fragment. Echo of Starvation, picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power is going to grant you Devour. So you've got Devour on the fly, you don't need to get a kill with your ability. And then Echo of Persistence, Void buffs applied to you, specifically Devour, have an increased duration. So basically, that is pretty much the full build. I'm going to leave my mods and everything playing out as well. And then once you've sort of got everything sort of working together, not to mention you're creating orbs yourself, but your teammates will also be creating your orbs as well. So you can always pick them up as well with your detonator beam. And like I said, these majors, minors, champions in the GM just get absolutely melted. You've obviously got your Nova Bomb, which isn't a bad super as well. And you can sort of combine them all together in a minute in this clip, you'll see. Just getting absolutely destroyed, all these little spawns of enemies. Get your Void Soul down. You've got your Unraveling rounds again. Most of these clips you will see, I've just got the Unraveling rounds as strand weapon surges going without having to go look for it. You've got your Powerful Attraction, your Detonator Beam, auto picking them up, being able to do loads of damage. The ammo economy for trace rifles, per damage per shot, is absolutely insane this season. You can see there, quite easily, got rid of that ogre, that big yellow bar, tanky ogre. Void Souls, again, I just want to give them a quick little shout out. Excellent for you, but they're even better for your teammates as well, especially if they're running big sort of abilities like Thunder Crash or Goldie or something like that. You've got that Void Souls, and again, a hot knife through butter. These Grims just get absolutely destroyed on the bridge. We're right near the end of the video now. There's just a couple more little things I just want to highlight the usefulness of this build. Just for example, the Void Souls and the Briarbinds also working together was very useful for this Sunless Cell GM. It will be good for other GMs as well. Then Void Souls will not only track and put a 15% debuff on, they will also highlight the enemy so you know where he is at all times. Just a cool little thing that I found, and again, you can just run around and pick these Void Souls up, increasing their damage, etc, etc. And then the last couple of clips I'm just going to leave playing out, but these witches that spawn with the Void Overshields, they just get absolutely rinsed in a moment, and that is again that Unraveling rounds and the Void debuff going on. You'll just see this trace rifle going through these like a knife through butter. But that pretty much wraps up the video. I'm going to leave a dim link in the video description. I will also leave a Mobalytics link. Let me know what you think of this build. I personally found it's a bit of a masterpiece, and it's about as scientific as a build you'll ever see. All the orbs and the Void and the Strand working together. Void subclass and a Strand weapon all combining. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.